Peace. So we back right now. Going back to the last question that I asked. I got a little too excited with the live videos and took a little bit long time to come back with this, but check it out. The question was, what year was approximately 60 years ago and what event took place at that time that pertains to that degree? So the year was 1874 because the 136 was written in 1934. So that takes you back to the year 1874. So we had some answers right here that I want to get into. Supreme Justice, he identified that as the Long Depression, which began in 1873 and led to colonialism. You know what I mean? So what he's speaking on right there, I did hear about the Long Depression, and I could draw up some meaning from what he's saying. Is that in 1873, when that occurred, right, when the Long Depression started, that led up to the type of colonialism that he's talking about. He's talking about the rush for Africa. And at that time, there were certain parts of Africa, like the Congo, that had never been explored by Europeans yet. So I could see him saying that once you had the rush for Africa and those parts of Africa was penetrated by Europeans and then those people were enslaved, then they could say that, you know, now they know about these rumors that they probably heard about, that there was some white people that was taking people somewhere and they didn't know where that was, or they never came back. So I could see what he's saying there, but you know, hopefully he'll clear that up a little bit more. We got another answer here from Allah, and he says that in 1874 was the establishment of the General Postal Union, and that established international mail, allowing our own people to communicate with us. And I actually didn't know about that, but that coincides with my answer that I'm gonna get into in a minute. In that, you know, see, when our own people communicate with us, right? When your own people communicate with you and tell you what happened to them, that's somebody who understands the equality of what went on in that cipher. You see what I'm saying? Because you had people that was going back and forth the whole time. Like when you see the movie Amistad, you know, that's just a movie, but that's based on real life. So there had always been people going back and forth, but none of them had the whole story. You see what I mean? Because if somebody kidnap you, they always gonna go back and tell your people you all right. Like right now, if you got a family member that's locked up and you call the jail and you say how that person's doing, they gonna say, yeah, they're all right. But then when your family member come home, they gonna say, no, it's hell in there. Now, we're gonna get into my answer, which is 1874. That takes you back to the Reconstruction era. The Reconstruction era came after slavery, and this was when they was trying to reconstruct the society in the South. And one of the things that occurred during that time was that the black man was first allowed to vote at that time. So you had a lot of black people getting elected to state offices and national offices in the federal government. And they was also getting appointed to federal posts. And one of those posts was that the first diplomat, the original man, was sent from America to Liberia in 1871. And he was an individual that he was a slave. He started off a slave. He purchased his freedom, his family's freedom, and then he rose all the way up to be a educator, you know what I'm saying, an activist, and, you know, eventually the diplomat that was dealing with Liberia. So he was in all worlds from lowest to highest over here. And he understood the full equality of what happened in the cipher. You know what I'm saying? So he went back over there and established communication with them because he could tell them the whole story 360 degrees. You know what I'm saying? And also, during that time, Pan-African thought, it started developing. You know, it was already people writing about it. The ideas already existed. You know what I'm saying? But now, you know, it was actually able to be facilitated because you had the original man in these international positions where they can come together and say, you know, all right, we see that we got the same issues and what we got to do to solve it. Now, for the question for the day, why do we say the original man has 7 1/2 ounces of brain? Put the answer in the comments, and I'll be back tomorrow with the answer. Peace.